Hello and welcome to a great, exciting, and fabulous show. We're here tonight with some of the most beautiful people in the world or in the city, but let's get to that a little later. I want to welcome you to a wonderful show tonight and to lead you in what we have in store for you. Let me start out with this. Have you ever been in front of a magazine stand? Let's say you are at the airport and you want to pick out your last magazine to go on a plane, or you're at the checkout stand and you see all these wonderful magazines in the racks and the people on the cover photos. Have you ever wondered what a lifestyle that must be, the models glancing or glaring at you? Well, I have. And I used to think, my God, what it must be like to be a model, to be in that lifestyle, to have men around you, to have money, to have prestige, and to travel. Well, I'm not wondering too much longer because tonight I have decided to bring you a few of these wonderful, glamorous cover people right here to this show, and let's go behind the scene and find out what the lifestyle is all about, what it's really like, but most of all, what happens after the modeling career comes to an end. It does happen, and here we are with four of the successful people, models. You may have seen them on some of our great magazines like Vogue, Elle, Bazaar, etc. And we let them tell you what it's like, what they're doing now, and whether it's worth it to be in that, quote, fabulous lifestyle. Okay, let's start out. We have four wonderful people here, and to my left is Teddy Thurman. She has been, from what I understand, a great model. She's been on cover photos. She's worked with Eileen Ford. She has done television, film. But I let her tell you. And first of all, this is Teddy.
Hi, Elka. It's nice to be here with you, and I love the way you put the glamour into action for us. It's very exciting to be here and hear that. It's, well, I went from New York modeling to Paris to, well, my first job was a Vogue cover. That's not here with me tonight, and the one I brought with me is from Paris. And I did that a few years, a lot of exciting, wonderful times, and then other avenues called. I went into broadcasting. I went into television and radio, both simultaneously, and had a great career doing that.
Well, I also know a little bit about you as far as your voice is concerned. Didn't they make a special issue out of your voice or your...
For years I had supposedly a mysterious, sultry national show, my voice.
Okay.
It went on for quite a while.
Well, I'm so glad to have you here. And before we go on, let me introduce you to my right is Aloma. And from what I know about Aloma, she also has been a great model. You may have seen her on runways. You've seen her on cover title photos. So let me have Aloma tell you where she's been and just a little bit about her. Aloma?
Well, Alki, it's nice to be here, nice to be with you and to be with this group, too. I'm excited about that, and I was really excited about the idea of where we've gone from here, although I have to say that working in fashion and being a mannequin, a model, and working for the leading designer in the United States in those years, I'm not going to pinpoint them, although I don't mind. I'll be 49 next month, so, I'm glad I've had several lives, And, but I started modeling when I was 16. For Gustave Tessel, who was the leading designer in the United States. And that was to take me into an incredible world of fashion and society. And, you know, I think that everything that I was learned and the people that I was around, the opportunity to be around, you know, the rich, the royal, the brightest minds. You know, I see Teddy has Milton Green's book, and it was a great time to be in fashion at that point, you know, because the great Avedon was, you know, all of the greats were around, including when at the Warhol factory. So it was a great period. And now I don't know if I'm supposed to go on about what I'm doing now.
No, that's fine, because I do want to introduce the guests before we go into, I know some of you have brought a clip. Let me introduce you to Chris Farrell, next to Teddy. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I know you are from a different country, and
That's right.
why don't you lead into that?
I'm from Germany and started modeling in Germany, went from there to move to Paris in the beginning of the 80s, and modeled in Paris for quite some time for big designers, did a lot of shows. It was very wild, went to a lot of parties and had a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds like that's the type of lifestyle that I thought all the models had. Fun, life, lots of people around you, money, whatever. And we have, last but not least, a very great model. For those of you who used to smoke, I think it was Salem cigarettes or True, let me introduce you to John White.
It's nice to be here, Olga. I was a model for 30 years, and I just seemed to go on and on and on forever. I started as a kid, and then I did bridegrooms, father of the bride. I did everybody to executives, and after 30 years, I decided it was time to retire and leave it to the children to take over the new career. I mean, I really did go on forever. So, and in between, I bought the Botel at Fire Island, and I ran that simultaneously with the career in modeling. And there seemed to be two John Whites: one who owned the Botel at Fire Island, one who was the model, and they didn't join until I did the True Cigarette ad. And after that, and I was the first True Cigarette man, I retired. That was when I decided it was enough, that I'd had enough.
Well, we have a couple pictures right here of John. That's Spring cigarettes and Avon for men. Maybe the camera can pick up on the photos right here up on the screen. Otherwise, we'll get back to them a little later. Yeah, there it is. Great. That was John. So for those of you who smoked Spring cigarettes, maybe that was one of the ideas to to smoke Springs. Anyway, let's go on. And before we go into crosstalk, let's show a little clip starting with Teddy. We have a wonderful clip going through her career a little bit as a model and Miss Weather Girl, and a little bit from a movie. So maybe we can follow her, a clip from Teddy Thurman. But until we have the clip, maybe we can sort of, oh, here we go.
We went to black.
There it is.
Oh.
We cannot hear the audio, so it's...
Oh, yeah.
I see it in your eyes. I hear it in your sighs. I know what you want. I know what you want. Just looking at that look, you're like an open book. I know together. I know what you want. You want me to tell you about the weather. In Chicago, where it was freezing, you suggested the pump room beside an open fire. In Miami, when it was sunny, you suggested the cool of the pool. In Wyoming, you roped and branded a steer to whet my desire. In Boston, you became that shy, sly little boy at school. Stop me if I'm wrong, but I've known all along. I'll bet I'm not just warm, getting warmer. I'm hot, am I not? I know what you want. Yes, let's get together. I know what you want. You want me to tell you about the weather.
Not the prettiest man
Well, that was great. So after he hits you, you make up. Okay. Okay, Teddy, tell us just a little bit about your great career. So you started out, we had some still photos, and then we had you as the announcer, and then we had your movie career. So give us just a quick little rundown on let's talk a little bit about your Miss Monitor.
Well, that was really a lot of fun. It was great fun because I was on around the clock all weekend, 24 hours a day, every day, Friday through Saturday through Sunday, on National Hookup. And it was really fun, though. It was, that was the radio show, Monitor. And then during the week, I did the Tonight Show and various other
Now on the
NBC
Tonight
shows.
Show, you did the weather.
Yeah, it was
I mean, let's
campy weather.
Yeah, let's clarify this because you're not out there and saying
right.
like we have nowadays.
So it was real campy. I had the highest heels and the longest gowns and the most weird, crazy outfits. And the map was on the floor and would open. You would think that it was on the wall, but it really wasn't. It would open. The camera would pan up from my foot up to here, and I'd say, "I know what you want. You want me to tell you about the weather." And it would end by, when we would pan down, and I'd finish with, in New York, it's my kind of weather, you know, a dry Manhattan. And me, I'm 36, 26, 36. And it would pan out that way. And the opening and closing were the same each night with all these wild scripts in between. But they would actually write them from, had Bob Hope's writer and all the top writers.
Right. I'm sure you had a lot of people call in and asking about you and offers maybe or
Oh, a few marriage proposals even.
marriage
you know.
proposals. Well, I'm glad we have you here and
It's
we are
fun to be
able to
here.
hear
I'm
about
enjoying
it.
it.
Okay, but we have another clip tonight, and that is a clip of Aloma. And I saw it, and I'm just really excited about it. But before that, because our pictures came down from our panel behind me, this is Aloma when she was on the runway and a mannequin. We have a couple more. Here she is again. Oops, can you hold that for me? There she is again. This is Aloma. She's Just beautiful. I think she looks a little bit like Audrey Hepburn, but that's just what I picked up at the first moment. Now she may not like me for saying that, but I know she's just a beautiful girl. But when I first saw these pictures, anyway, and we'll go into her now profession a little later. But let's see the clip of Aloma, if we may. In the meantime.
She'll never get canceled this way. Oh, ease up, ease up. Try it, Millie. Try it. Sir. Good. Get it out. Get it out. Fabulous. Fabulous. Your cheeks are all pink. Don't you feel better? Oh, good. She's going to be very good at this. Isn't that hard? Very good at this. Good. Go with it, honey. Go, go, go.
Okay, that was great. I hope you liked it. And if you were wondering what the last clip was all about, that was about Aloma's latest venture. Actually, she has a few ventures going on. So let Aloma tell us.
Ah, thank you. Well, it's great to see all that up there, you know. I was such a baby when I was modeling, and, you know, I look at that and it seems like such a distant, a distance away. I'm a photographer now. That's what I actually do, and is my great love, you know. And I get to be behind the camera, and I do fashion, and also I work with a lot of celebrities, so that's lots of fun.
Oh, that's good. Now I would imagine, having been in front of the camera at one time, and now being behind the camera. I mean, what does it make you feel? I mean, you know the whole. It's like a circle going around.
Yeah, I think all that helped a lot. And I just love sort of being able to bring that out of people, you know, to make them to relax, and that it's only a picture, because I was so glad to have some of the great photographers, you know, sort of help me along. And then, you know, I think that it's great, like what we're doing right now, this is all about art, you know, and participating. And Henry Jaglin, who's a film director, asked me if I would, you know, participate in a film that he was doing, and that was a lot of fun, because I think that things sort of, it's like a canvas. We're involved in, this is the canvas tonight, you know. So that was what you saw at the end, the last end of the clip.
Well, what I saw from the little clip, I think your life looks like it's really been involved. Okay, well, let's go on, because I see time is running so fast. John, let's hear a little bit about you. When did you actually start modeling, or what got you to modeling? I mean, you've been on all these great. I mean, let's start it this way. You told me you started off with a sweater, and you went into high fashion and ads and galore.
Well, when I did my first composite, I did every picture in a sweater. I happened to have a great sweater collection, and I was trying to merchandise myself, and I've got to be well known, because the bookers would look at it and say, "Where's that model that does all the sweaters?" And then they would pick me, and then when I got the sweater ads, then I got the shirt ads, and I got the jackets. Then finally, after 10 years, they pulled me full length. So, and that's basically how I started.
Yeah.
I did actually start Marshall Fields on the runway.
Right.
And then when I came to New York,
Let me just intercept for 1 second to the camera. Maybe the camera, while we're talking to John, can sort of pan on some of his pictures up against the panel, because it's really interesting to see what happened from a sweater boy to a glamour boy, I would say. There he is in a tuxedo and again smoking the cigarette, and Avon for men, whatever. But John, it sounds like you were an all-around boy or man, and you said you were at it for 30 years. That's quite some time.
that's a long time. I think the ad, if you can see it, if it can pan in, is this when I was the Railway Express man, which was done by Bert Stern. It's this orange one right behind me
Oh, the
with a hat on.
LPS.
And it was somewhat towards the end of the career. I think I lasted about 7 more years after that. but I was I put the war paint on, and I was on the side of every Railway Express truck in the United States. And
Maybe the camera can take a shot. It's right behind John. It's the war paint. Yeah, there we go.
and it was removed because it said REA scalps the nation. And I was told that I was brought up on the floor of Congress by the Indian Commission. They had every picture destroyed. I was replaced by a blue pigeon.
Oh, God. Well, we have one more clip for you, and that is of Chris. And Chris brought us a clip of his latest career, and that's of singing. And we have a short clip of a video of Chris. Chris, do you want to maybe lead into it a little bit?
Well, this video was filmed actually in Los Angeles just a few months ago, and it's from an upcoming album, as a matter of fact.
Okay, great. And that is your latest...
That's the latest one. I did already one beginning of the 80s. That's the reason I came over here, actually, and then I got a little bit... I wasn't too happy with playing a teen idol. So I did other things, among them some interior work.
Okay.
And
Let's see whether
nightclubs.
we have it on the monitor. Do we? I can't tell.
I tried
Not yet.
Not yet. But what made...
It's on the
Sweet dreams, I wanna dance, I just wanna dance. Oh, why is this no dream? Breathlessly running from one to another extreme, gone those lonely days. Oh, and you swore it would be never the same. Down to the rhythm, a slave to the beat, dance to the music.
okay. Move black.
That was great. Chris, you really do very well. Tell me a little bit about, you said you were from Germany.
Yes, I started modeling in Germany. I was studying architecture, as a matter of fact, and art. Got kind of bored with it, finished it, and went to Paris. And wasn't really trying to be a model. And also, my first job was from Vogue magazine.
God, you certainly went from the dry
That's from
to
nothing
the,
to Vogue.
from the dry drawings to the hot drawings. Yeah.
That's true. I was out, and somebody came up and said, "Please be at the Vogue studio tomorrow," which was Sunday at 3 o'clock.
God, did it have anything to do with your heights? I mean, you...
I don't know. I didn't ask any question. I went home immediately. Went to bed.
But you're always at the thick of things. I hear you've opened a lot of clubs out here as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, I did. Was very lucky with it. I get into things really
Right.
intensely, and once I do something, I guess it's a German nature to thrive for perfection. And well, so far everything has been quite successful.
Well, one of my questions to all of you actually is what happens after you feel this is enough? I don't, I feel like other competition is coming up. How did you all make this switch over to another? Because all of you are doing such great things. You are into clubs, singing, videos. Here's real estate, photography, and real estate, I believe, or investments. Again, I mean, just all of you at once. Tell me what happened. I mean, or it's.
I think that modeling is a little like architecture in a funny kind of way, because you're exposed to so many of the arts and so many different kinds of people and places, that it's a natural thing that you can really pick up on anything. I know for me, I became a homemaker and a partner to a husband before I found photography, and that it just kept, you know, spreading out, you know, that way.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I was an art student when I became a model, and people were always bugging me to paint me during my spare time. And then I decided I could use a career that way.
How would you compare nowadays modeling with the times when you were models? I mean, when I look at, I mean, today to me it's a little different from the times when I saw you on the covers. I mean, it was so sophisticated. And do you have anything to say to that? John?
Well, everybody's so young today.
Yes.
When I went into the modeling, all the male models were 36 years old, and I was 20. And, you know, it was like I had to change the whole format of modeling, which I ended up doing. And then I was aimed at corrupting the youth of the world, because I looked so young, and my smoking and drinking, whatever, I was aiming at late teenagers. I mean, that's what it was supposed to do.
I know you were the pinup guy.
But I think, you know, I think every model wonders how long the career is going to last. And we're always looking for something to get into, you know, to support our old age.
I imagine you have to, while you are modeling, I mean, you have to think about it, because it is such a limited maybe time spent. But then 30 years, I don't find that quite limited.
that happens to be an exception. I mean, I figured when I started that at 30 I'd be over with, that it would be all over, and that I better save my money and invest it someplace along the way in something else, or find another career.
Yeah.
It's also that modeling is a very repetitive craft. It's like you get used to it, you like get good at it, and then you thrive for more. You want more control, you want more creativity, you want to be more in charge, not just being asked, put on the clothes, stand over there, just do what you do. You know, you want either to get behind the camera, you want act, you want to sing, you want to like do more than just be pretty.
Yeah.
You know?
And not being so immersed in one's looks.
Right.
It was so boring, you know.
Right.
I mean, there are only so many turns, and you know, like even as you know, showing collections and all. I mean, how much can you?
Well, I imagine.
Twist and turn.
Right. Like I said at the beginning of the show, when I look at a magazine, naturally it looks so great to me, but I'm sure you all have your own feelings about how stressful it is and how strenuous. And there comes the time that, like you said, you can only make so many turns. Okay, I see we're coming to an end, and I know we probably all have so much more to add to it. I wish we had another hour to go. So maybe I can ask all of you, what would you suggest to the world out there? Is it a good field to get into? Is it exciting? Or should you be cautious? Just 2 seconds for all of you, each of you.
It's a fabulous field. Get into it, make a lot of money, and then get out.
That's right, you travel a lot, you get to learn a lot, you get to experience a lot, you meet a lot of people, and when you're young, you should do all these things.
Absolutely. I
You're-
mean, it's the best.
You're
Well,
exposed to the world, so.
I'm so glad to hear that. So, and I am, first of all, so glad that you could all join me. I am happy to have had you here, and let's hope we all get together again.
Thank you.
Thank you
Great.
so
you.
much.
Great show.
Okay. Well, and
It's wonderful to be here.
We did it.
How did that look? We're not up? Oh, we're still talking.
Oh, we're still talking. Oh, I just took our, I took my mic off.